Hello, Layla. Lovely to have you back in studio. Happy New Year.
Hello, Dave. How are you?
Marvelous, thank you. Dave
Happy
from
New Year
behind
to
the
you too.
Dave from behind the mic with Assistant Graham in office today.
Yeah.
Layla, what is December like? Tell us everything.
Oh, December was wild, I would have to say, but not in wild of partying and going crazy, wild in spending as much hours as possible on the bike. Yeah, I just had the best time. The Cape Town weather was amazing. And yeah, I was able to really just put as many hours as I could and just really kind of refresh myself into why I ride my bike and why I'm here and why I want to take up space in this industry. And yeah, I was able to connect with some really awesome cyclists in the community who I literally just met by chance, and we just like really hit it off and ended up riding together almost every day, which was super awesome. And yeah, it was just like a really good time to get some base miles in. I saw everyone's festive 500s on Strava, so you go guys, that was awesome. And some people did even festive 1000s, which were pretty intimidating. So next year I'm coming for you. Oh wait, it's actually this year because it's 2025. Okay, damn. So yeah, anyway, had a really good December and just so happy to be in the new year and excited for the race season ahead.
Great. Glad you had a good December. Do you know how many hours you logged in December?
Sure, that's tough. I mean, I think I did like 20 something hour weeks of training, which is quite an increase. I know that doesn't maybe sound like a lot to people, but I think when you're doing like volume and quality, it does get quite tiring. Yeah, and then on top of that, just trying to go to the beach as much as possible, as any Cape Townian should be doing. Guys, the beach is where it's at, as long as there are no other people there. Yeah. So that was
80-hour
really nice.
month is monstrous. Imagine spending 80 hours in the gym, what you'd look like.
Yeah, I don't think I look like I spent 80 hours on the bike, but hey.
Obviously excited to be in the new year. I don't want to take anything you've said and use it for myself, but it sounds like it's the year of the race snake for you. What are your plans? What are your aspirations? Give us the lowdown.
I honestly just want to get the most out of myself on the bike that I can. Just riding for me brings me so much fulfillment and so much joy. I'm just really leaning into that. And big part of that for me is racing. And I feel like I've reached a level where I have a good base and I just want to really hone on my race skills. So yeah, I've sat down and planned the calendar and it's pretty packed. A lot of different events that I haven't done before, which I think is important to try to diversify myself, but also some events that I have done this in 2024 that I want to hit again and perform even better than I did before. So some notable ones would be I'm doing the South African National Road Championship and the South African National Gravel Championships, which are obviously quite pressured races and important to feel like you're showing up on your best form for those. And then some other exciting ones would be the Cape Town Cycle Tour and the Cedar, which this year is the UCI Gravel Worlds qualifier race. So that's also super important to make sure that I perform well there. So hopefully I can qualify for World Champs again. And yeah, so I think the year is going to have a lot of travel for me, which will bring some extra stresses for sure, but I feel prepared and ready and just excited to just give it my all, to be honest.
Awesome. Well, best of luck for all those races. Got no doubt you'll show up for every one of them, but most importantly, have a good time, obviously. Anything from last year, in particular, like nutrition and planning wise, that you think might be different this year? Any lessons that would be reapplied? I draw inspiration from the return of Teddy Pogacar to, winning states at the Tour de France. Two completely different looking cyclists. Obviously many factors involved in that, but they regard a lot of their changes as being nutrition and heat adaptation focused. I know he's at the extreme end of the scale, but any changes there from your side? Anything you think you might do different?
That's such a great question. I would say I have to draw on my own experiences that I learned last year, and I feel like nutrition is really completely underrated in terms of how much you can learn about yourself, but also about how to get the best out of yourself. And it's an ongoing journey. Like what worked for you one season might not work for you the next season, just depending on where your gut training is at and all of those things. So I spent quite a lot of time in the second half of last year really honing in on what nutrition I use and different products that I use. I even went as far as purchasing my own maltodextrin and fructose and sodium citrate to do my own mix and my own ratios to try to just see what works best for me. And I'm still at a point where I think I could still increase how many carbs I do per hour when I'm racing. So far I've got to around like 80 grams per hour, but that's quite tough for me, and I still definitely notice like in longer gravel races that can get a little bit much for my gut. So I'm hoping to increase that, but that takes a lot of gut training. And in terms of like the different ratios of fructose to glucose, I believe I'm saying that correctly. Okay, you have to cut that.
Definitely won't cut that.
Ratios. I feel like I've kind of got to a point where I saw the 2-to-1 ratio is best for me. But I'm getting to the point where I want to increase it more to like a 1-to-1, but that makes more sense when I think you're increasing the amount of carbs you have per hour. Okay, it's getting a little bit technical, but another big factor would be my sodium intake. That's something I've taken a lot of attention to, particularly when you're training in the heat. So I've really upped the sodium that I have when I'm training so that I can make sure that I'm firstly not needing to pee in a gravel race. That is brutal. And secondly, that I'm not losing too much salt and feeling that like horrible lightheaded feeling that one gets. So yeah, those are some lessons that I've taken from that side of things. But then also in terms of general training, as I've always said, and it's something I still stand by, consistency is your best friend. Like even if you can't get a huge amount of hours in a week, just going on your bike and showing up is already most of the work. So yeah, carrying on with that mantra going forward.
Awesome. Cape Town Cycle Tour is very topical. I certainly enjoyed watching you on the TV screen for what felt like forever. Are you going for that again this year? Is that on the race calendar? Definitely.
I mean, Cycle Tour is definitely one of my absolute favorite races. I think that the women's race is quite short. With Cycle Tour, because it's short, the efforts that you put out are quite big, because you know that's not too long. So you tend to get a bit of, personally in my own experience, I get a bit ahead of myself and I tend to go out too hard, too early, but you still need to conserve energy for those last few climbs. So I'm hoping to be able to do that this year and kind of like, I don't want to give away my strategy though, so I've got to be quiet, but just have something left for Chappies and Segaborsi so that I can really show how much work I've been doing and the progress that I've made. So yeah, pretty stoked about that.
I may not do the race just to watch you do yours.
You can watch it afterwards. It is on the live stream. It is available, so no excuses.
There's nothing like live racing.
Okay.
In terms of coaching, are you working with anyone in particular this year?
Yes, my OG, Reese McDonald. He has been there to support me for the last 2 years in my cycling journey. And yeah, I feel like we just really click, and he gets me and he pushes me to really get the best out of myself. So really happy in that relationship, and looking forward to working more with him.
Okay, Layla, we're looking for some hot takes for 2025. There's no limitation in terms of what they are for, but let's start off with Tour de France 2025.
Sure. Okay.
Men's race and then women's.
Okay, men's race, definitely stoked to see Tadej have another amazing year. I just find him so inspiring, the way he races with, at times it feels like such emotion, but at other times he is just like a machine. So that's really exciting. I wouldn't say it's a hot take, it's just what I'm excited for. So yeah, my hot take as well is that the route is going to be pretty exciting, but I mean, clearly my hot take's not very hot, so.
Who do you think is going to win it?
Hopefully today, I would say he would. Yeah, I think he's dialed in the things that he had issues with previously. So yeah, hopefully him.
Do you think he'll use that new aero bike?
I hope so. He should, if he's smart.
You mentioned something about the culture of Cape Town and you know the vibe that's can be felt in the streets of cycling at the moment. Do you want to talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so like just from my own personal experience over this past festive period, I've just felt like Cape Town is the place to be for riding your bike. Like everyone who's coming to ride and out on the roads has just been having, honestly, like the best time. And everyone is excited. Like personally, I'm just so excited when I see other cyclists and when we all just come together and ride bikes and enjoy this beautiful city. So I would say another hot take, which is more general, is that Cape Town contends with other cycling meccas in terms of the cycling culture and the people you can meet and the places you can go. The only downside would be sometimes the festive drivers are a little bit scary. So make sure you're riding before 12 p.m. noon. That would be a good idea. But just, yeah, if you stay safe, it is one of the best places to ride your bike. And I think there's a lot of energy in the riders around us that are, just really want to make Cape Town the place. So yeah, excited to be part of it.
That is a very accurate hot take. Couldn't agree more. Equipment wise, do you expect to see anything from the industry at large, new and exciting come out, and anything happening in your world? I do see a helmet bag sitting inside the studio.
Yes. Okay. So equipment wise, I would say in general, I think there is starting to have a bit of a trend towards like even lighter setups again. I mean, I saw that some setups were getting even lighter than the UCI standards, and like that's being pushed even more. But personally, I'm quite excited about the prospect of an Elves gravel bike to get all those efficiencies and just to see that and ride one of those. It's literally going to be one of my bucket list things for this year. So if I can just ride it for maybe a few minutes, that would make me really happy. And hopefully if I get some more, hopefully some races, that would be awesome. And I literally just right now bought a S-Works Evade helmet from Reese. So yeah, I'm gonna probably be racing around in that.
Wheeling and dealing, yeah.
Exactly. So to make sure that I have all those aero gains, because one of the things that I discovered on my Elves Evo is just how fast it is and what a difference it makes having those aero advantages. So yeah, leaning more into that for my own equipment this year, and also that comes with it is like dialing in your setup, dialing in your position. So I'm also going to spend a bit of time doing that to make sure that I'm in the optimal position to get the best power and cut through the air like the racing snake that I am. Yeah, I'm really excited. Another thing that I think is going to be in the industry as a whole is an increase in how much data you get. Like I know we have a lot of data already in cycling, but I think it's going to get even more. Like I would love to see some like glucose monitors and those things coming into integration with the head units and general analysis of your rides. So as we discussed earlier, nutrition is such a big part of riding. I think people want to actually understand what's going on in their body. So it's not just a guessing game. And through having those types of metrics, you'll be able to really dial in when you eat, how you're doing, how you're responding, because at the end of the day, everyone is different. So yeah, I'm quite excited about that as well.
Have you seen those, I can't remember the brand name, but there's now things that you can mount on your bike that will give you a real-time aero drag coefficient?
Yes, I did. I literally watched a video on that this morning. So I'm so glad you asked.
Our algorithms are aligned.
They are aligned. Actually, that is so exciting. Like, imagine being able to have that accurate data to be able to position yourself in relation to the draft and the wind and all those things, and be able to tell your friend in front of you, hey, stand a bit higher for me so that I can draft you more. I think that would be really awesome. So yeah, I'm very excited about that. I think as well, like with the data side of cycling, it's important to also remember why you do it, because the numbers are fascinating and something that I personally really enjoy, but it's not the same for everyone. Sometimes just having a ride with no power meter, no heart rate strap, maybe even no head unit, shocker, it's actually worth it just to remember, hey, I like being out here because I'm in the world and I'm present in that moment. So I think it's a balance for sure.
Awesome. Layla, that pretty much wraps up everything that we wanted to cover. And if there's any final words or New Year wishes you want to leave everyone with?
Okay, so my New Year wish or idea is I've had this concept of having like a word for the year. So for me, my personal word for 2025 is resilience, which I'm trying to channel into all the things that I'm doing. So my question to the audience and to you guys is, what is your word for 2025 and how can you bring that into your life?
Absolute legend. Layla, thanks so much.
Pleasure.
All the best for the year.
Thank you.
Ciao.